Overthinking is the enemy of peace and productivity. The more we churn fruitless thoughts, the more ensnared we become in anxiety's sticky web. Our minds race into imagined future scenarios or relentlessly revisit past regrets, all the while missing the present moment's gifts. Overthinking is a trap that prevents us from living with intentionality and appreciation for what truly matters. Fortunately, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism provides an arsenal of wisdom to disarm overthinking's pernicious effects. The Stoics were masters at separating the rationale from the irrational, the worthwhile from the wasteful. Their timeless principles enable us to interrupt overthinking's vicious cycles and realign our consciousness with the right perception and right action. In this exploration, we'll examine 10 powerful Stoic strategies for loosening overthinking's grip. From reframing our mindset to tactical daily practices, these methods represent pathways to reclaiming our mental sovereignty. By embodying Stoic virtue, we can transform our thoughts from runaway tyrants to willingly dismissed guests. The liberation waiting is nothing less than the ability to engage life with revitalized purpose and presence. Before we begin, I would appreciate your support. Don't forget to click like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. If you like the theme of this video, please comment +1, and if you don't like it, then comment 0. We look forward to hearing your feedback. Method number 1. My friend, the ceaseless churning of thoughts is not you. It is merely a disturbance rippling across the surface of your mind. Just as the depths of the ocean remain calm and untroubled while waves crash above, you have the power to detach from the turbulence of overthinking. Imagine your thoughts as a provocateur outside your mind's fortress, clamoring to be admitted entry and create panic within. But you are the sentry at the gate. Will you carelessly allow this agent of disturbance to infiltrate your inner sanctuary? Or will you rebuff it, refusing to grant it any purchase? The path of the Stoic is to recognize that we are not our thoughts. We are the conscious awareness beholding them. An untrained mind follows every meandering path of worry and anxiety. A philosophically disciplined mind maintains unshakable equanimity, witnessing the thoughts arise and disperse without clinging to any of them. Practice detachment from your thoughts, neither pushing them away when they arise, nor fueling them with fear and rumination. Allow them to move through your awareness like clouds passing across an open sky. In this way, you take back your sovereignty over the one domain you truly govern, your own mind. What mental representation helps you most to objectify the overthinking process and create an inner distance from it? Method number 2. The more you battle against your thoughts, the more tenaciously they seem to persist and multiply. What is needed is not a warring struggle, but a deft redirection of your mind's energy. An anxious, fretting mind arises from a lack of presence. It is either regretting what's past or fretting about what may lie ahead. The antidote is to fully inhabit the here and now. Bring your awareness to this present moment reality unfolding before you. What sights, sounds, and textures can you notice with full attentiveness? Anchor your consciousness in the richness of this very experience. Ground yourself by feeling the physicality of your body, your feet weighing on the earth beneath you. From this stance of rootedness in the present, turn your attention fully to whichever task is before you. Lose yourself in the process, rather than mentally leaking into judgment and fantasies about future results. An absorbed mind has little room for circling thoughts to breed and multiply. The philosopher's life is one of dynamic engagement, not impotent rumination. What eyes do you choose to see through in this very moment? The frantic, past and future-fixated thoughts that blind you to the vibrant reality surrounding you, or the panoramic perception of one fully present and alive to the richness of the eternal now. When you find yourself spellbound by overthinking, see it as a summons to overcome that state by fully inhabiting and participating in this moment's living activity with all your energy. In that immersion, extraneous thoughts are starved of attention and wither away. How might you craft a rewarding routine or project to repeatedly rechannel your mind in this way? Method number 3. Imagine a grove where every leaf, every blade of grass is whispering the great truth of impermanence. As you walk its paths, you hear their rustling chorus. All things are passing away, all things arise and die. This is the nature of the universe and of your own mind. Just as you do not beg the falling leaves to remain on the branch, so too must you release your attempt to freeze thoughts in your mind's sky. They will arise, replacing those before, and then necessarily pass away in their turn. None are permanent, that is their essence. What freedom this understanding grants you! When you embrace rather than resist the impermanence of thoughts, you liberate yourself from their tyranny. No longer feeling compelled to control or be controlled by them, you develop the power of conscious release. Look dispassionately upon the thoughts streaming through your mind, discerns that are a benefit to be temporarily embraced in service of your goals, and which are merely wasteful distractions, intrusive and draining ghosts to be dismissed from your mind's stage. For the fruitless thoughts spawning rumination and anxiety, practice the art of letting go. Like relinquishing your grip on a stone, feel the loosening spaciousness that arrives upon releasing it. With repetition, this skill of letting go becomes an instinct, a pathway out of the overthinking storm. Each day presents a new chance to begin this practice anew. What thoughts, if you clung to them, would calcify within you and obscure your soul's present peace and clarity? Method number 4. Does over-anxious fretting consume your mind like ravenous locusts descending on a field? You must take charge and contain this undisciplined menace within strict boundaries. Establish a circumscribed worry period each day, perhaps 30 minutes in the evening. During this time, unfurl your concerns fully and inspect them with probing rationality. But the rest of your day is to be quarantined from anxiety's intrusions. When runaway thoughts try to breach the perimeter, firmly repel them, making a conscientious note to examine them later in their allotted period. In this way, you interrupt the pernicious cycle of rumination happening continuously throughout your day and night. During the worry period, pull each anxiety from the dank recesses of your mind into the searing light of your studious consideration. Inquire as to its source, whether internal or triggered by external circumstances. Scrutinize whether the things you fear are truly any threat to what's most important, or are they misaligned projections and distortions produced by that deluded inner faction that so desires to borrow trouble. With dedicated practice following this protocol, you weaken anxiety's foothold. Undisciplined worrying devolves into a feeble background static, and you install yourself as the measured magistrate determining which concerns deserve your reasoned attention and which merit only indifferent disregard. Are you not worthy of sovereignty over your own mental kingdom? Unshackle yourself from the tyranny of unexamined worries, leeching your focus and resolve. Commit to marshalling this taxing menace within strict boundaries, so that you might greet each new day newly emancipated. Method number 5. When looming, paralyzing thoughts assail you, threatening to entrap you in indecision and inaction, you must urgently interrupt their momentum. Like a great oak tree arising from a tiny acorn, the most formidable challenges begin as manageable, discrete tasks. Your overthinking frenzy sprouts from your mind launching ahead, fretting about each successive obstacle before the first has even been addressed. So resist the temptation to mentally grapple with the entire problem all at once. Instead, meticulously segment it into a series of concrete, actionable steps to be handled one at a time, in proper sequence. Just as you would not attempt to swallow an entire banquet in one immoderate gulp, do not expect to consume the entire situation in one panicked mentality. Focus your efforts fully on identifying and resolving just the very next step before you, ignoring the anxiety-laced projections about what may or may not follow after. With this simplicity of purpose, you disarm your catastrophic thoughts and break their ballooning trance. As your mind achieves firm purchase by executing that first manageable action step, it gains inspiring evidence of its efficacy. This concentrated, incremental approach builds the steady kinetic of progress and belief, enabling you to continually cascade from one accomplishment to the next. The once towering, paralytic mass of complexity gradually dissolves into a series of dispensed triumphs. What most vital objective lies suspended before you, obscured in a miasma of frenzied inaction? Become acutely present, then pragmatically segment and isolate just the first step required. Investing yourself totally in its resolution will initiate momentum, rendering you deaf to overthinking's crippling wails. How might you begin this process today? Method number 6. While anxiety is the toxic smog of the soul, gratitude is the restorative breeze that clears it. Make it your daily ritual to deliberately identify 3 things deserving of your appreciative focus before sleep claims you each night. Let their simplicity and ubiquity be the very quality that shakes you from your blinkered mental restraints. The velvet darkness cradling your repose, the meager meal that sated and nourished you when many go hungry, the transient beauty of a cloud illuminated by dawn's first rays as you started your day. By reverentially beholding these humblest gifts as the marvels they truly are, you alchemize your perspective from scarcity to opulence. So often the delusional mind, drunk on covetous ambition, negligently tramples the precious gems of moment-to-moment being that encode life's true riches. When you interrupt this ingrate trance through conscious gratitude, you wrench the tyrannical rein from deficiency's gripping scarcity mindset. From that liberated vantage, excessive anxiety is revealed as a miscreant indulgence of deprivation thinking. You become enlightened to the lavish bounty underlying your existence, no matter your circumstances. With this innermost shift of opulent appreciation, the overhyped worries congesting your mind's airwaves rapidly transmute to transparent insignificance. What ordinary, easily ignored phenomenon in the theater of your daily existence right now warrants extraordinary thankfulness? Allow that spontaneous perspective renovation to be your steadying anchor as you navigate anxiety's sinister tempests. Method number 7. So much of our overthinking stems from an obsession with outcomes ultimately outside our control. Will this venture prove successful? What if my efforts fail to produce the desired results? By investing our self-worth in something so tenuous and impermanent, we inevitably belabor our minds with unrelenting angst. I propose you abandon this futile preoccupation and align yourself with that which you do govern, the integrity of your intentions and the conscientious quality of your efforts in service of those intentions. These interior processes are sacred principles entirely within your rightful jurisdiction. When you wholeheartedly dedicate yourself to doing what is right and good to the fullest extent of your abilities, without mental bargaining for specific outcomes, You inhabit the invincible fortress of your own elemental virtues. From this station of self-governance, no external events can perturb you or instill overthinking circular doubts. Focus solely on marshalling your energy toward performing each action with utmost ethical care, prudence, and committed mastery. Whether the perceived results are favorable or disastrous, you can rest easy knowing you enacted your truth with unstinting integrity. What greater victory could be asked than the contentment of maintaining fidelity to your principles? The seeds of sustainable flourishing can only arise from tillings of disciplined character and strenuous exertion, not from attachment to byproducts, however alluring. In what area of your life have you been excessively beholden to fatuous outcomes rather than honoring the perfection of effort motivated by your deepest values? Let this be your revelation to realign and reassign your energies accordingly. Method number 8. The root cause of most anxiety can be traced to a ritualized avoidance of any distress or deprivation. Like delicate hothouse flowers, we script our circumstances to preserve an addictive climate of perpetual ease and comfort. Naturally, any divergence from this coddled terrarium, regardless of how minor, provokes overwhelming overthinking and panic. To fortify your resilience and shed anxiety's shackles, you must become a gymnast of the uncomfortable. Systematically initiate controlled exposures to voluntarily chosen situations that disrupt your homeostatic inclinations. Progressively elevate the intensity as your distress tolerance strengthens through repeated practice. Let us begin moderately. Sleep one night on the bare floor, forsaking your bed's cushioned indulgences. Spend an afternoon fasting, refusing hunger's childish petulance to dictate your actions. Take an ice bath, conquering your aversion to fleeting unpleasantry. With each achievement, you ratify the sovereignty of your reasoning will over impulsive obstinance. What circumstances or environments do you instinctively avoid due to their anticipated discomforts? A tidy person might leave belongings strewn for a weekend. One averse to cold might sleep with open windows. An introvert could engage strangers in conversation. Through progressive, graduated exposures, you affirm your authority to withstand and transcend situations that would previously ignite overthinking anxiety. Like steel forged in heat, you manufacture an inalienable fortitude. What manageable battle with self-imposed discomfort could you embrace today as training for bigger tests ahead? Method number 9. Let this profound truth be your soul's wakening cold water. Life is terribly, lamentably brief. The tiny span of years allotted you are but a fleeting vapor, already dissipating into the infinite oblivion awaiting us all. How much more brilliant your anxieties would ignite, I wonder if grasped through this bracing lens of mortality. Those fretting thoughts expanding like noxious mists to contaminate your pristine moments. For what inglorious purpose do you permit them to foul your temporary embodiment? To embroil yourself in trivialities while the singular essence of your being blazes away, unwitnessed and unheeded. Is this the impoverished reverie you've opted to inscribe upon the eternal monument of existence as your transcribed legacy? No, I beseech you to utilize the solvent of this dire truth to purge such paltry vapors. For how much longer will you forfeit the pleasurable rich draughts of sentient becoming, miserly trading them for the bitter tinctures of exaggerated worry? Consider this. Were you to be instantly transported a year into the future, how negligible would loom those vexations now looming as immense phenomenons requiring your brooding attendance? Lift your vision then to existence's elevated prospects, those noble strivings, experiences and connections anointing your finite stay with ordained significance. What useless male-nurturing apprehensions have you been permitting to leech your focus from realizing more fully this one irreplaceable sojourn? Allow the profundity of its imminent expiration to be the catalyst clarifying your energy's auspicious investment going forward. Method number 10. Even the most steadfast mind can become ensnared in overthinking's labyrinthine catacombs when relying solely on its own devices. We are all flawed vessels containing the accumulations of our past ignorances and attachments. To extract yourself from harmful mental patterns, you must at times consult the philosophic wellsprings outside your subjective confines. Identify the elevated thinkers, teachers, and written works that can serve as incorruptible reference points emanating truth's clarity. Then actively seek their restorative counsel when your reasonings grow disoriented in overthinking's dense contrails. Shed the pretense that you must blaze this contemplative trail in arrogant isolation. In my own life, I have turned to the paradigm-shifting discourse of Musonius, or the bracing wisdom inscribed by generations of Stoics before me. Even your closest friend, provided they possess the rigor to perceive your mental complexities with lucid objectivity, can become an invaluable ally. Do not be deluded that the struggle against overthinking anxiety is one of sheer willpower. It is a sapping battle of attrition that cannot be won without recurringly replenishing your armories from potent, truthful fonts beyond your own. The ultimate humility is swallowing one's pride to receptively drink from the wellsprings that circumvent and correct biases. What respected source, whether a contemporary mentor or classic philosophical text, might you consult to reignite the extinguished flame of your perspective? The resonant insights of others who have transcended overthinking's gravitational pull can be the very guidance returning you to your highest dominion. How might you take one initiating step today to seek their restorative light? The war against overthinking futility is a perpetual campaign requiring steadfast vigilance. Even as you implement these Stoic practices and rout anxiety's intrusive forces today, they will inevitably regroup and launch new offensives tomorrow. The philosophic life is one of unwavering commitment, never culminating in a final and lasting victory. This reality, rather than being dispiriting, should be embraced as the human condition's richest opportunity, for it is in constantly recreating our self-mastery through the right thoughts and actions that our characters are infinitely forged and tempered. Let this knowledge ignite your enthusiasm, not your despondency. Share your experiences in this virtuous battle by commenting below. Inspire others to join our study by sharing these teachings widely, and persevere alongside us down this eternal philosophic path by liking and subscribing. For our sustained dedications are victory enough over the phantom forces of confusion and fretfulness that would claim our flourishing for their own.